Hey there, welcome to Hermit Haven. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. We're so excited to invite you into our safe space. Hermit Haven is like a cozy little hideout where we can celebrate being confident in ourselves as we find happiness in quiet moments.
So grab your favorite blanket and your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Hermit Haven.
Hi, I'm Ashley. We're excited to have you. This week we're going to chat about coming out on top through any season, whatever season you're in, like how important, how I feel like we sometimes walk into a new season and sometimes we don't thrive, and it's maybe the expectations we put on ourselves, maybe it is not what we think, maybe the season we're in is not where we want to be. And so, but I think every season you're supposed to come out on top. You're not supposed to I don't know, crawl under a rock and never come out. So I think it's super important to really just have that positive mindset of how can I take whatever the season is, if it's positive or negative, and come out on top.
Yeah. And like a new season could be a big thing, like having a child. It's definitely a new season. Or it could just be something small. Like I talked about this a couple episodes ago, but I started my 75 medium, which I had to take like a few days off when I was sick this past week. But that, I mean, it changed my whole day because now I'm thinking about things that I wasn't thinking about. And so it's just like a small thing, like I'm going to exercise more. Like I don't know. I feel like that can throw off. Not that it should be a season. I guess exercising should be forever. But do you know what I mean?
I mean, in every
Like it
the season,
change.
yeah, and what a season is, it could be different. It could be something just as simple as it's the weekend, right? Like it feels like a new
Yeah.
season because it's the weekend. Or it could
Yeah.
be something simple like, your kids are out of school for the summer, so that's a whole nother season for you all. Or it could be your kid is going to a new grade, so that's a whole nother season, right? I think when we think about a season, we think about a time period. Could be a small time period, could be a big time period, could be a large time period of something new, something different, something that feels not the same.
Yeah. Could be like something like grief too. Like that is a season.
Yeah.
Or things that happen, a child going into the hospital or whatever, like that. Just anything that's going to just throw you off your norm. I
Yeah,
think.
anything that changes your routine, changes your relationship, your mindset, your goals, right? A new season could be every month for you, right? Every month is a new season. And again, it's what you make of it. So if you decide, right, that you're going to go into June with these high goals, compared to last season where you were wish-washing, didn't have a routine, didn't know what you were doing, it is a new season then, right? Or Jackie and I just spent 30 minutes talking about content creation and creating content this week, right? We're walking to a new season of us as a content creator.
Yeah.
And you're at, and the thing is, we're already content creators. We're already making content. We're already making some type of income off this create content. So why is it different, right? Why is it a new season? Because we have new goals. We have new things we want to post about. We have new things that align with who we are.
Yeah. And a lot of the times in a new season, like sometimes it can be nerve wracking, sometimes it can be exciting. And I feel like your mindset always plays the biggest part in, even if it is scary or there's things that are happening that are out of your control that are make you fearful, whatever, sad. Like your mindset can completely like make or break you, I feel like. And I guess no matter what you choose to do in the season, we'll talk about this, like it'll be fine. Like at the end of the day, like it's all gonna work out because that's just life and trials and tribulations and like happy things happen in life. But your mindset and like the people that you surround yourself with, I feel like play such a huge part in each season in how you thrive or not. I mean, mostly your mindset. Like I don't want to say like other people have that much of a determining factor in how much you're going to thrive because you can cut people out and still thrive. But I just feel like it's a huge factor.
Yeah. I mean, it's only up to you to thrive in wherever season you walk into, whatever role you walk into. It's only up to you. No one else. People might clap for you, people might help you, people might respect you, but at the end of the day, it's only up to you to thrive in that season. You are only going to get as far as you let yourself, and your mind is the only thing like limiting you.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about like a couple, like what we've done? Um,
Yeah.
I guess like uh, a new season that we stepped into. I can think of a bunch of different ones, but maybe like we talk about seasons that are different that we've stepped into and like, how we've, I guess, handled it.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go for it. I feel like, and again, what your seasons look like are going to be different than my seasons. And I think that's super important when our friends are listening is to think about, what season are you in or what season did you walk through?
Yeah. So I'll start. In the past, summers, you just mentioned summer. In the past, summers have been really nerve wracking for me because I'm like, oh my gosh, the boys are going to be home, or even it was just Gavin, like, going to be home all summer. I won't get a break, right? This is just what I was thinking. Like, I'm not going to get a break. It's going to be very overstimulating. Just all these fears start coming in my head because I know that this like new season is approaching. And so, what I've done differently the past couple years that has been so helpful is I try to think of what are the things that I'm most fearful of. I'm not going to get enough time. Okay, so I have to schedule. Like I'm a problem solver. So like that's just what a lot of this is. A new season comes, you have to problem solve. So I'm thinking to myself, what are my fears? How do I mitigate them? So I'm asking for more time to myself. I'm making sure that if I need time to myself, I'm taking it or I'm scheduling it or asking for help if I have someone to help me and making sure like that's one of my biggest things. I am scheduling my day out, especially now that like it is summer and I'm trying to do this 75 medium. Not that it's that much different from like what I was doing before, but still, I'm just like cognizant of it or whatever. So I'm kind of loosely scheduling out my day. In the mornings, I love a slow morning. It's the summer. We don't have to go anywhere. So I'm like, you go on your iPads, you go on your Switch for like I don't know, 30 minutes or so. Like let's just relax. I have my coffee, I read or journal or whatever. Like it is so nice. We just do like a slow morning. I love that. That's what we do. And then I know in my mind that I need to get 45 minutes of working out in. And maybe that's 15-minute intervals of a workout because the boys are crazy or we have things planned that day that we want to get out of the house to do. But like I'm thinking about that in advance. Like, okay, we have a beach day tomorrow. So maybe I'll wake up and before we leave, I'll do like 15 minutes. And then maybe when we get to the beach, my in laws will be there. So maybe I can take a 30-minute walk on the beach. Like I don't know. I'm just thinking in advance about the things that make me feel anxious in the new season and how I can
Mhm.
like move forward in them. That was just one of
Oh, I
the
think
things.
that's
Or
a
like meal planning.
I
Things
think
like
that's a big thing though, like you're highlighting is preparing for that new season. Like if you know that new season's coming, preparing for it or preparing while you're in that season for the next part of that season, right? There's waves in every season, There's
that.
the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Yeah. So, yeah, when like if I know that a new season is coming, preparing as much as I can, like meal plan or, what am I going to do during the weeks? I went and researched like there's $2 movies, there's, free bowling for the kids, like there's just different stuff that we can do. But there are seasons that we don't get to prepare for. So you want to talk about that? Like grief
Yeah.
can be a sudden season that you aren't prepared for, or like the whole weird stalker situation that I was not prepared for. Like, there's things that happen in life that
Well, yeah. Or I
not
think for
almost
like
knock you down.
me, something I was saying to Jackie, because we always talk about these episodes before we get on. And one of the things I said was, working for Disney, like it was my dream job. I got to work there, but then having to let it go because it wasn't doing good for me, like there was no good in it. Like no one prepares you for like to get everything you want, prepare you. Like I literally was prepared for that season for so long. And then to give away, something that you worked so hard for, like preparing for how to go through, like how to go for those emotions, and how to navigate into the next season. Like, what are you going to do next? Right. So I think, there's so much, like you said, like some seasons you're not prepared for. Some seasons you get, like, you're in and you realize that this is not the correct season for me. I need to move on to the next season. Right. And so many times we don't, or, it's the beginning of a season that takes forever. That's the saddest, right? Like, when my grandparents got sick. It wasn't like they just got sick and it happened, right? It was a year, almost a year of just watching them be sick. So you're mentally trying to navigate, how do I get through this season that is tearing me, ripping me apart? And how do I still come out on top? Like, how do I, and I think it's like the little things, like still trying to show up for yourself, still trying to show up for the people around you, and it's taking the moment to do little things. Like Jackie was saying, taking 30 minutes out of her morning to make sure she's journaling or spending time with herself, or for me, it's literally, I like, especially with a baby now, like if I get 2 minutes just to make a coffee in the morning and sit down and drink even just a sip, I'm happy. Like that, it's finding joy in these seasons. And I think too, when we're saying come out on top, that means that even if that season was hard, or even if that season was great, you found a way to thrive so hard that you are not the same person you were when you walked into that season.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, I think anytime that something's hit me, I mean, motherhood too, like you think you know, but you don't really know until you've been a mom. Like you just don't know how it's going to be and what's going to happen. And so I think anything like that, grief, trauma, like any unexpected emotions or physical things that happen to you, like the best thing that I've found to get through it is focusing on me. And it doesn't mean that I'm not a good mom. Like I was still talking to people. Some people didn't even really know I was going through what I was going through. Like somehow I just like fermented it up and like hit it home, I guess. But um yeah, focusing on me in small ways. It's not like I was that whole summer when that weirdo guy, like I didn't have a walking pad, I didn't have a treadmill. I loved going on walks. You guys, like I've gone on walks for years before like even I had Gavin. I've just always like I love walking. And I wasn't going for walks outside because I was so scared because like this random dude came to my door and told me he was in a relationship with me and I didn't know who he was. So like I didn't want to go out of my house at all and definitely not for walks. And so like there are really hard seasons and I don't know, probably took a while. I mean, it definitely took a while to go on a walk, but it probably took a while before I even got back into like weightlifting and stuff and like exercising. And so sometimes it just takes a little while and you have to really motivate yourself. Like sometimes you don't feel like it, you just don't feel like doing the things, but you get up and you find something you can do for yourself. It doesn't have to be physically working out. It could be eating foods that are going to give you some sort of vitamins. Like it could be watching a movie that you love. It could be talking to a friend and not just completely like
Yeah.
hiding away. Like it could be anything, but you just like get up each day and you're like, what's something that I can do for myself that's small today? And then like it just kind of builds. You just keep doing it and it builds. And so for yourself, like what the things are that are going to make you the happiest. And so like I feel like that's just the hardest is like when you walk into a season where you just don't even realize it was coming for you. It just like
Yeah.
knocks you right over and you're like,
I mean,
ah.
I think about that all the time. Like the last year for me, like think about it. I didn't know we were moving to Colorado. It just happened. And then I didn't know I was pregnant. And here we are with a baby. And then I had to like figure out a job. And then I had to like walk into that season being pregnant literally in my second trimester because so when I first moved here, I was just babysitting. In reality, like even Matt says it, like the first trimester was not my friend whatsoever. I don't think it's anyone's friend, but like I literally spent all day in the bathroom. Like I couldn't even if I had a job, I probably would have quit. It was bad. Um, but I babysat for the first couple months, like the first second trimester, for whatever it was, and then gain a job to have like a income that I knew was coming every week. So I got this job at a daycare pregnant and just like walking to that season, like it's hard. No one prepares you to be like, I feel like you have to have like a bravery, like so hard because no one prepares you to be like, hey, I'm pregnant. I need you to accommodate me. I have like 8 doctor's appointments in the next month. Like, it's you have to be brave. I think too right now I've been thinking about this. Like I'm in this maternity, I'm on maternity leave, so that's the season I'm in right now. But it's staying in this season that I'm in right now, enjoying these newborn snuggles, having nowhere to be, but also knowing in like less than 30 days I have to go back to work and preparing myself for that new season, but not throwing away this season we're currently in. And that's even harder, right? Is when you do know what the next season is and you're, and sometimes you're excited for the next season because the season you're in is bad. But what do you do when you're in this amazing season and you're just like, I just want to stay here. I just want to freeze time. I don't want to prepare for the next season because the next season I don't want to be in.
No, that's it's so true. Like it's the unknown. I feel like we do that all the time in life. Like we're just like, but what if this happens? Or how is this going to work when this changes? And like we're always just so nervous about the future, and I guess rightfully so. But at the same time, like you're saying, it ruins the present. Like you're not able to be just happy where you're at because you're just constantly so nervous about like what could go wrong in the future.
I
What it's going to look like.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I didn't think, I'm not afraid to say it, but when I was pregnant, I didn't think where been working has treated me well. So, like, having to go back now and work there again when everything's been so good, I'm like, I don't have to be there, like, and it's just like, how do I mentally prepare? It's also, I pump, so preparing, for the next season of being a working mom, pumping, making sure this boy is fed, right? Like how, it's hard. And I think too, walking into motherhood, right? So many of us as a mother are either preparing or they're like, they know they're going to get pregnant or they don't know, right? But no matter what, when you see that pregnancy test, a whole new season starts.
Yeah.
And you're just like, how do you feel, right? And some of us, I don't know, like I know for me personally, I am delayed. Like I gave birth to a child. I don't think it hit me until like the last like month where I'm just like holding my baby and I'm like, you're mine. You're real. Like you're a month old though. Like, right? And sometimes that's the hard part too, is you walk into a season, you don't know how to like, I don't know, you have a delay emotion to it, and then the season's over, right? And then you're like grieving the season you didn't even get to be in because it's so, and I think, sometimes you're not going to come out on top in a season, but sometimes you have to combine seasons, right? Sometimes we think one season is just one season, but sometimes it's a whole, it's a couple, trimesters, semesters, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I I think also like everyone obviously is so different in each season. Like that people grieve differently, right? Like people have different postpartum journeys. And I think sometimes we're like, what's wrong? I remember thinking this like after my dad died, and I was like, why am I still so sad? And everyone's like, but you just like went through all this stuff. And I'm like, I know, but like, hasn't it been long enough? Like, why, And so we're always questioning, like, why in our, that, like, we're still, I don't know, that was like the most frustrating part for me is why am I still in this season? Like, why can't I just move on to a new one? But every season, even if you're not, I'm not talking thriving, like, you're going to be like getting up at 5 a.m., like drinking your green juice and like doing all these things for yourself. Like, I'm not talking about that. Thriving is different to everyone. And so it could just be, I made it through the season. Like, I made it through and I got past it. Like, I eventually moved forward because I think that's the thing is a lot of people when they get stuck in like a hard season they don't know how to move forward, and so they kind of just like lay there and they're like, someone come help me. And that's when all these like self-development gurus are like, no one's coming to help you.
Literally, but
But you have to like help yourself. But it could be like you said, something small, and that small thing could be you thriving in that season because you're doing something.
yeah,
um
it could be something so small as like you haven't showered in 3 days, so taking a shower for yourself, right? I know that sounds like disgusting, but it's the honest truth. Or like, you've only eaten 2 meals a day for the last week, so having a third, having time for that third meal, like we
yeah.
think it has to be this like luxurious thing, right? And I think
Yeah.
this is a common thing we talk about in a lot of our episodes, but nothing you do for yourself has to be luxurious. It doesn't have to be this huge gesture. It doesn't have to be crazy. It can literally be like spending 1 extra second in the bathroom to brush your hair when you see that it needs to be brushed, right? It doesn't have to be something crazy. And right. And I think too, something you're saying is like, well, the season of grieving may not end, right? Like you're like, still kind of in it, right? Some seasons are gonna linger. right? It's just like the rain. When it rains, right? Does things just dry up naturally that fast? No. The slide stays wet for a couple hours, your car stays wet, right? There's a reminder that it was raining. And that's okay, right? It's okay to have those reminders. I think too, we think of when we go in and we're thinking negative, right? Going, it could be grief, all these other things, but have you ever been in a season where you're striving so hard, right? You're doing the best in motherhood and you're doing the best in work, right? How can you get higher then? How can you do more for yourself, right? I think when you're doing good in a season, it's important to say, I can do more. And when
Yeah.
you're not doing good in a season, it's important to say, maybe this isn't my time, but what can I do that will make me feel better in this moment?
Yeah. I feel like that's, oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that I feel like that's where I am right now. Like I happen to be in a really high season. I'm loving summer with the boys and getting to spend time with them. I feel like I'm just like on my game. And that's why like Ashley and I have been having the conversation like we need to be doing more. And so we were talking like I'm obviously doing like the 75 medium thing. Like I'm just trying to push myself just a tiny bit more. Just pushing myself like on social media, pushing myself a little bit more because just because I'm doing amazing doesn't mean that I just stop here. Like I and not that we always have to be physically doing more. Like sometimes it could be like loving yourself more, like healing more so you could love yourself. It doesn't have to always be
I love
physically
that.
moving around. Yeah.
I think too, it can
Um,
be the way you talk to yourself, like love
yeah.
yourself more in that season, especially, if you're doing amazing, then keep reminding yourself you're doing amazing. If you're having a hard time, remind yourself to hug yourself.
Yeah. It's so true. And just know that like everyone like we feel alone so often when we're not in our super high season, or sometimes you can feel alone when you're in a really high season. But you're never alone. Like everyone is also trying to just do what they can for themselves. And so, and just because someone is doing XYZ for themselves doesn't mean that's going to be what you need to be doing, like in the season, right? Like, I have friends that are teachers and I just freaking love them. And they're like, I have like lesson plans over the summer because they were teachers and like they know how to do all this stuff. And they're just like, I have this and we're doing this and we're doing no screen time and we're doing all, and I love that for them. But like, I know what I need this summer for me and my children. And so postpartum as well, right? Like you see this person having a newborn baby and they're just so happy and they're so in love and the baby comes out and you just have this postpartum depression and you don't feel good, you don't feel like yourself, like you're like, how come I don't feel that same way, even though it's the same technical season, like we just started the same season but we're not the same? No, it's not going to be. Everyone's going to be different, but at the same time everyone has struggles that they're going through at some point, and so don't ever feel like you're alone.
Yeah.
And that it's wrong that you're like going through a season wrongly, like you're doing it the way that you need to be doing it for you.
Yeah, it's your season. It's your season to go through. The way you go through it is going to be the way you go through it. I think too, what people need to get through that season is going to be different than what other people need, right? And I think another thing you bring up is, you can't judge someone or like think that you're not good enough because of what someone else's season that it looks like, right? Even if it's the same exact season.
Yeah.
I think too, the way we process things is going to be completely different. So again, what you see as a season, how you feel about that season, what you're doing in that season, it's all on you. It's all the way you process it. It's the way you feel about it, right? Um, I think this season, I was thinking about this recently. It was like it's like a TikTok trend, honestly, it's going on, but it's like I wouldn't have gone for get through postpartum if it wasn't because of, and I think about that all the time. I'm like, I wouldn't have gone for like I wouldn't have been able to get through the season if it wasn't for Matt, if it wasn't for Jackie and our podcast, it wasn't for my family, if it wasn't through our friends Katrina and Garrett that live down the street, like I wouldn't have been able to get through this season. The season's still hard, right? I'm still in it. And every day, and this is like, I feel like the best part of this season, like, I don't remember the newborn days, even though he's 2 months old. I act like he's like 15 years old sitting on my lap. But like the first month, I don't remember anything. And I cried about it. I've cried about it multiple times, right? I've been sad about it. Like, I wish I could just go back and like freeze time so I can like just watch it all over again. But this is like a great season because he knows who I am even more. Like he looks at me, he stares at me, he does all these cute little things, right? Like we're just I think too, like our journey, like with feeding has gone better. So like sometimes that's another thing. I think that's a great point to bring up is, it takes time, trial and error, right? Like, so he has really bad like reflex, spits up a lot. We've been working on this. Obviously, he's only 2 months old. So we've been working on nursing, we've been working on bottle feeding, we've been working on how to make things better for him. So this season is hard for him, but we're just trying to make it easier. And I think that's another good point is how do you make seasons easier? And sometimes that's how you get on top is just making that season easier.
Yeah. I think we both like both Ashley and I thrive on routines as well. Even if we're I can't always stick to like the same routine or anything, just having different points of your day that you're going to try to aim for is so important. Like having your coffee in the morning, if by your just sit down and have it,
Mhm.
or for me like my walking, just having certain things that that you're going to have for yourself. Just having like I don't know, having that routine.
Yeah.
It's really helpful. I don't
No,
know
I
if I even said what I was supposed to say there, like right, but
No, I agree. It's important to have like those little things that like help you through the season because sometimes we know how long a season's going to be. Sometimes we know that a season's going to be 6 months. Sometimes we know a season's going to be 3 days, right? We sometimes we just know, right? I think that's another amazing thing we should talk about is right is how we know, right, like we know what a season is, and I think it's important having a season, right? So if we just go to work every day and our kids go to school every day and we just call the next 5 years a season, that if you want you can, but I think it's important to separate, seasons, right? So summer break, right? What are you doing this summer differently? Or maybe a vacation, right? We're in the season of going on a vacation together, right? I think that's super important too because I think that adds excitement. It adds this like how what's next. I think it also adds goals, right? If you're in the season where you're working all the time and you're not happy, you're not spending time at home, right? So you're in the season of unhappiness, of routine,
yeah.
right? So how can you change the next season to be happy? And I think that's another thing is like we need to realize that there is multiple seasons and not just one season.
I think also something that can help you like make a season more fun if you have the like brain space and the ability and stuff is like trying a new hobby. I think that can make if you don't have you can't afford a vacation, you don't have one coming up or whatever, like you want to do something fun, like maybe you try like I don't know, what do people do these days? Pickleball, like I don't know, maybe you try like watercoloring, like go get some watercolors and like I don't know, maybe you just try something new that either you used to do or you haven't done for a while or something that interests you, like do it with the family. Like I just think that can make a whole like I told Gavin, I was like, he loves the piano and like wants to learn. And I'm like, I've always wanted to learn, but I just like never made time for it. I'm like, we should totally learn together. Like that would be such a fun, like little season for us together is to just learn how to do the piano. So I don't know. I think you can make it just so much more fun, even if it is a hard season or if it is not a hard season, you can just challenge yourself a little bit more and
Yeah, I think
grow.
the biggest thing is when you're down is to find a way to challenge yourself to how to get better in that season. I think when things are good is to challenge yourself how to make it even better, right? We always say like don't, don't disturb the child if they're chilled or calm, but like sometimes we could do more for ourselves and we're so content with where we're at that we don't do more for ourselves. And doing more again does not have to be this big gesture, does not have to be something crazy. It could be something small. Like it was so cute. Jackie told me the other day she bought new pens for herself, right? For journaling. Right? And like it's just little things like that, right? She's walking into the season of slow mornings journaling. So she got herself little pens to get excited for that season. Right? And it's just little things like that.
Yeah.
And I think, I was just telling Jackie, I guess like talking about separating seasons, right? Even though we're in maternity leave, right? I feel like the first part of the season was like grandparents are here, newborn, right? Second part of the season is just like was Matt and I and baby. Third part of the season is like him and I, right? But we have like this other part of the season between him and I where it's family and friends and like we get to see people. So I think there's seasons in seasons, right?
And there's just always ways to make them better or, more fun, or heal more if you're the sad one. Like, there's just always something that you can do for yourself. And I think that's just like the overarching goal of this entire episode is that we we need to just make sure that we are focusing a little bit more on ourselves than I think we do because we have a lot of listeners that are moms for women. And I just think it's a general thing where we are so busy thinking about our kids or our spouses or what's, our friends and family and like other people that we just don't focus on ourselves as much. And then we're just like, oh my gosh, like I used to do all this stuff for myself and now I haven't. And what happened, And then I don't know. If you just have like small things that you can do for yourself, it's easier to not have that like burnout or forget about yourself and just are always in at least even if you're in a really hard season, always be in some sort of like thriving momentum.
And I don't think it's what you have to do every day. Like, you don't need a journal every day. It could be once a week, right? On Fridays you journal, or it could be on Sunday you do a hair shower or whatever it is, right? It could be. It doesn't have to be something every day. It can just be once in a while. But if you want to come out on top in this season you're in, whatever season you're in, it's important. It matters that you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of your mindset. That's the biggest thing. You are going to be stuck in whatever season you are in if you're not trying to find the love, the peace, the amazingness, the goals. I don't know, like everything about that season. I think too, it's important to freeze time for a second and be thankful for that season. Like so many times in the middle of the night, I just hold Ari and I'm just like, I'm so thankful for you. Like, I'm so thankful that I'm able to put you to sleep. I'm so thankful that we have this. Even though it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I would rather be sleeping, I'm so thankful that I get this extra snuggle with you. And I think that's important too, is finding, gratitude in that season. And I think when you look back on different seasons of your life, you're not going to honestly remember every season. Sometimes the hardest seasons are the ones you forget, or sometimes the littlest detail in that season you thought you were going to remember, like the way the thing looked, and you're just frustrated because it didn't go the way you wanted to. In reality, you're not going to remember, or you're not going to remember the season where you had so many dishes and the dishwasher was broken and you were frustrated every day because you had to hand wash your dishes. You're not going to remember all that. In reality, you're going to remember the amazing moments you had in between. So I think that's the thing too, is don't harp on all the bad, don't harp on all the things, right? Just live in the moment, take care, be grateful, be thankful that this is the season you're in, because if you weren't in this season, you wouldn't learn the lesson you need to learn, or you wouldn't learn how to get better and better and better. So going back to this whole content creation, because it's been on my mind since 4 in the morning, but I've been working on content creating for 5 years now. Some months I make $0. Some months I make $30. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I make. It matters that I'm getting my thoughts out there. I'm making this journal. And it's funny because sometimes I don't even post what I'm filming. I'll literally film an entire day for a vlog and never make that vlog. But guess what? I get excited about is going back and seeing those clips from that season, right? So I know I could be a great content creator, and I know this, right? I know this every season that I'm in content creation because there's been 5 different seasons of content creation. But I also know that there's a lesson I can learn from every season, and I also learn that I can get better and better at it. And it takes time, it takes strategy, it takes journaling, it takes getting over yourself, moving out of your way, saying, well, that's not working. What will work? Or saying that is working. Stop being lazy and do more of that.
Yeah.
So we love you all. We pray for you in whatever season you're in. We pray that it's the best season, or if it's not the best season, if you find love, you find hope, and just know that like we're always here, we're always with you. If this is something that is really something that you really like listening to or want to listen more to, let us know. Comment, email us, message us in the Facebook group. We just want to have more of these cozy conversations with you. We enjoy them.
Yep. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday for the next cozy conversation. And just know, again, this season is beautiful, whatever season you're in, even if it feels like the ugliest season or the most beautiful season. Mwah!
Okay.
Mwah!
Thanks for spending time with us today and being part of our Hermit Haven community.
We hope you enjoyed our cozy chat and are inspired to embrace your inner hermit.
Remember, even in the quiet moments, you're never alone on this journey because we are truly all in this together.
So until next time, stay cozy, stay true to yourself, and keep spreading love wherever you go.
Bye for now.
We'll see you next time.